Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge, and today we're going to be playing 20 questions. Hey everybody. Today we are going to play 20 questions, as in I wanted to do a Q&A with you guys. It's been forever. And as I said in the few posts that I shared about this, collecting them, I was trying to wait until I hit 25K. But I was hoping that was going to happen earlier than it did. Which, I mean, it hasn't happened quite yet. We're still about 250 subscribers away. And YouTube has absolutely stifled my growth. Now, of course, you can't totally blame it on them, but there's just things that you learn when you've been doing YouTube as long as I have. Not that I'm like a full-on expert or not. I very much have my little niche and I do what I need to do to get by. But there are just certain levels of like steady growth that you're used to, and this year that's just completely left. Now, that doesn't mean my channel is dying or going away by any means. It's been just great, and that's why I highly recommend, creating yourself a little community, because then it doesn't matter if YouTube's not pushing you to more and more people. You really find where you fit. However, just as it goes for like goals wise, I did think I was going to hit 25K this year, so I just thought I would be doing a Q&A before now, but we haven't hit that. And you know what? I was like, I don't want to not answer some of these questions that have been bubbling up, just because I'm not hitting a certain level. Like, that's not fair to you guys. It's not fair to me. I love doing Q&As. I love answering questions. And so we're going to do that today. But because I don't want this to be ridiculously long, we're going to do 20 questions, maybe a bonus one here or there. We'll see how it goes. I have an hour to film today. And I put all the questions from I put a post on Patreon, I did one on the YouTube community tab, and I've done one on Instagram asking for questions, both anonymous, where people could fill out the Google form and they don't have to say who they are if they felt the question was sensitive or just didn't want a shout out, as well as on my Patreon, where I will do a shout out. Or if you put your name in the form, I'll give you a shout out too. But I didn't want to do every single question all at like once here, because there was just a lot of them, which is great. I have about 40 to 50 questions in here. The questions that were the same, I put them all like on the same slip. You'll see what I mean if one gets called. But I put them all in here, and I thought it'd be more fun to pull them out of here, as well as like, I don't have my computer in front of me. I put it aside and want to be reading off of there. I know I do that a lot, and not everyone likes me reading off the computer. No one's mean about it. I just mean, I know what it's like. It's better when it feels like you're being talked to when you're doing that. So I took all of them, and I'm going to mix them up one more time too and dump them out and everything. After I put all the questions in, I mixed them up, but we're going to mix them up one more time too, just to make sure. And then I'm going to pull out 20 of these. There's a few of the questions in here that I really want to make sure I answer. So if they don't end up getting pulled out, though, I will answer them by the end. But otherwise, then what I decided to do is whatever questions are left, I'm going to put them in the next vlog that I do. I have a vlog coming out for Patreon before Thanksgiving. So there will be one, there will be some of these in that vlog too, so that I get to all of the questions. Yeah, because otherwise I think I literally put 98% of the questions. There was just a few that I skipped because they were just not anything that I felt really needed to be like in a Q&A or anything, but for the most part, they're all in here. So here we go. I have my cute little mug that says Booktrovert. This is from Bound in Fiction, which is a company I rep for, because also it totally matches what I'm wearing today, which I love. So here we go. Here are all the questions. I got my drink. And let's go. Here, we'll put it. Okay, this says, do you plan on reading the prequel novella by E.P. Bali called Her Vicious Beasts in 2026? And this is from Caitlin. I wonder why Caitlin asked this to me. So Caitlin actually gifted me this book. And I don't know, Caitlin. I hope maybe that I will. We'll see. I do appreciate you gifting it to me. And it is a pretty short one, so we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, the book again was Her Vicious Beast by E.P. Volley. Maybe is the answer. I can't tell you. I don't always push myself in. Another one had fallen out, so let's grab this one here too. What is your favorite book cover right now? And this is from Taylor. Ooh, that is a good one. Do I have it nearby, actually? Do I have the book nearby? Obviously, this changes all the time. But one that here it is. One that I'm just obsessed with right now, I think the author gets the best covers, is I love the cover of Hit the Ground. Isn't it so pretty? It's so pretty. I love the veiny hands. I love that he has a man bun, long hair. I love the like little chest touches. We got cowboy, dad bod, everything. Oh, this is one of my favorite books this month. This is one of my favorite authors. This is one of my favorite covers right now. We'll just go with it. We won't make it complicated. I have to reread that book in December to annotate it, and I'm already excited about it. So I'm going to keep the questions in front of me so I see how many we've done. Okay. Going way to the bottom in here. Oh, and that question, yeah, that was from Taylor. I said that. Okay. Are there any new to me authors that I've been loving? But I do in my reading journal track every new to me author that I read. And so far this year, I've read 49 new to me authors, which I think is pretty good. Really happy about that. Let's see. Who are the ones that I've been loving the most? I mean, I've said this a few times. Elle Nickel. I really have loved the 2 books I've read from her so far. I'm going to have one of hers here because it's going to be in another video I'm filming. I love Elle Nickel. I also really love, let's see, Amanda Richardson. I've read a couple of her books so far. Love those. Who else was new this year? Oh, Sloane St. James was new to me. Loving her. And, oh, Helen Schreier was new to me this year. I'm looking at the new to me this year. I've actually made 2 videos so far about new to me authors this year. If I remember to, I'll link them, but otherwise, they're in my, one of them wasn't too long ago that I did it as well. So those are a couple from this year. Who else? Daphne Elliott. I liked a couple of hers. So yeah, those are a few. But yeah, I've made full videos on those, and I hope to read even more. I mean, I'm going to always be reading more new to me authors. But that was question 3. Question 4. That question was from an anonymous person too, by the way. Ooh, I love this. A craft you want to try but haven't yet, from Allie H. So if you guys don't know, I mean, I talk about it a little bit. And earlier this year, I did do a craftathon, which was so much fun. A new craft I haven't tried yet. I actually did recently just get a diamond painting, which was previously my answer to this. I just have not, and this is what I feared too. I just have not had the time to get back into it. But diamond painting was the most recent new to me one that I've tried. What is another craft? I don't know. I really have tried a lot of the ones I want to do. Because like this year I've tried watercoloring. I've done watercolor. I've done, the little models that I love doing. I've done, of course, I love doing my cross stitching. I've done, I really can't think of any, Allie. I'm sorry, that's a bad one. Especially because like diamond painting was my answer. And I just started doing that. There is one that I would try. I've been looking at a few times. There is some mosaic projects I've looked at that are, you know, where like you can make a coaster using like pieces of glass, like use like glass mosaics to like make a project that way. I've been eyeing up a few of those at Hobby Lobby, so I may eventually try that. But yeah, literally diamond painting was my answer for a while, and I finally bought one. And I've got my mom hooked on it too. She's done more of them than I have so far, because I'd started one, and when she came to visit, I was like, Mom, you got to check out diamond painting. And sure enough, she's done it. So, love that. There's a couple questions about crafting in here. We'll see if we get to. Have you read Alice Coldbreath? And if not, do you plan to? This was an anonymous person. And yes, I have. I've read her, the Victorian Prizefighter trilogy, which I loved. It's been a while since I've read one of hers though, but I do have a couple of her, like there's one that is the love potion for the alpha that I've had in my TBR for ages. And I also have one of her other historical series on my TBR, but I have read Alice Coldbreath. One of my patrons actually bought me signed copies of her books, the Victorian Prizefighter, and I've read all three of those, and I love them. So yes, have read her, and will read more. Why don't we do this so I can grab out of here instead of bending over backwards to get it. Oop, there's two. Oh, here's another one. What are your favorite hobbies outside of reading? And this is from Kim. Hey, Kim, you are awesome. Well, I've kind of mentioned some. So cross-stitching is definitely one of them. I have done, I don't know, at least 50, no, maybe that's exaggerating. Maybe at least 30 to 40 cross stitches in the last 2 years of all varying sizes and everything. I love cross stitching. To saying something like outside of reading is tough though, because even the hobbies that I do, they're all hobbies I've started that I can do while I'm reading. So even that is like difficult to say, but yeah, I love, cross-stitching, crocheting. I love doing puzzles, all things that I can do while I listen to a book. But yeah, I'm a boring middle-aged girl at this point. Like, I mean, I'll own it. I'm about at middle age at this point. I'm a boring middle-aged gal. Besides my YouTube channel and my books, that's about it. I do love hanging out with my friends, and we're getting more into that again lately. Like, you know, after the time period that shall not be named, I didn't see my friends very much at all, and now we're really getting back into hanging out with each other more, and I love doing that. So I used to love movies and TV more, but oh, that's a hobby. I mean, true crime, that always feels weird to say. But I'm very interested in true crime, as well as watching YouTube videos about Mayday. Like you guys, if you ever watch the Mayday airplane disaster, I've learned way too much about planes that I didn't need to know, but I find fascinating. And yeah, true crime. So again, I want to answer your non-book related questions, but I don't have a ton to say. But I appreciate you, Kim. I love you, girl. Thank you for that question. Here, we'll do this one since this one almost got put away. This one's from Megan G. I have a lot of Megans who are patrons and stuff, but this one says, if you had to pick where we would find you reading, would it be a cabin in the woods or a cabana on the beach? I mean, girl, that is a great question, but also I don't even have to think for a second. It would be a cabin in the woods, okay? Whether it's a remote cabin where we have an outhouse, you know, which isn't fun, but whether it's a remote cabin with like that or a straight up like we rented a fancy Airbnb cabin, I'm going to pick the cabin in the woods 9 times out of 10. The thing is that a cabana on the beach is beautiful, but I'm not one of those that ever liked like reading on the beach. Maybe because we didn't have really great beaches where I was from. We were the land of 10,000 lakes, but you're more likely to get eaten by mosquitoes than get a sunburn at a lot of those lakes that I would go to. And also, Well, Kindles have made reading on the beach infinitely more improved. That's just not my space. I mean, I'd rather be cozy in my clothes than in like not that I would ever wear a bikini, but then in a swimsuit with a floppy hat reading on the beach. Like, if I'm at the beach, I'm probably just sunning myself and, maybe listening to music or a podcast or something. But I would absolutely rather be in a cabin in the woods at any time, anywhere. Put me there. That's where I want to be. But that's a great question. I don't even have to think about it. Like, no thanks. I'm not the beach gal. Oops. All right. This is question 8. What motivated you to start your channel? And this was from Alexandria, Michigan gal. So that's a great question. I'm going on my 8th year of YouTube, and though I will not point it out to you, if you do go back to the very beginning, I did do a video when I started that was the like new booktuber book tag, and this was when I wasn't fully sure that I was I wasn't gonna be like overly geared toward romance at the time. That came just in the natural progression of things, but I truly wanted people to talk with books about. I've talked about this, a couple times, but I love that I have new viewers who like maybe don't know this about me. So it's great. But in 2018 is when I started my channel. I mean, I technically had my channel before then. I started one in 2011 for a school project. So it technically will say that my YouTube channel is like 15 years old, but I had to start it for a school project and then I didn't use it again until 2018. And I had come across booktube, a few years earlier than that, probably in 2015 when I moved out to Fargo, and I just started finding YouTube videos about different books that I was liking. That's when I discovered kind of Sarah J. Maas and Outlander, and I discovered people's like reviews of books, and I thought that was so cool. And so for a couple years, I watched a lot of the like big channels. I didn't realize there was small ones. Like it just didn't occur to me that there was like smaller channels. So I watched the big ones back then, right? It was Jessie the Reader, and it was Kat, and it was, I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. But then Christine Riccio, like those are who I watched because that's what it was. Like I still vividly remember watching the spoiler review of A Court of Mist and Fury. I also loved spoiler reviews right from the beginning because I just wanted to know if a book had a happy ending, right? And I didn't know fully that romance is what will guarantee that for you always. Like I just knew I knew I liked romance, but I didn't understand all the things that I now are literally the tricks of my trade, as it were, right? Of what I demand out of stories. But anyway, so fast forward to 2018, and I can tell you specifically too, there is a booktuber who, used to be my friend very closely, was Murphy from Murphy Napier. And she, at the time, was just a stay-at-home mom. And not just, I don't mean that as like, but she was a stay-at-home mom with her son. And she was doing these in-depth reviews of books. And they were like YA fantasy, right? Like ones I vividly remember her reviews of the, what's it even called? The Lee Bardugo books. I'm so sorry. But you guys know, the Grishaverse. I watched her like spoiler review of the Grishaverse and I thought it was so cool. And actually joined her Patreon and I became friends with her. And this was back when she only had, I started following her when she only had 10,000 subscribers. And it's actually through Murphy that I met my friend Joe, because Murphy said like, oh, you and Joe like a lot of the similar books. You should talk to each other. And this was back when, I don't know, that was just so cool. So in 2018, though, I finally started my channel, which was, I'm not even one of the people that like, oh, it was so bad. Like I still use my phone. I learned how to do everything on my phone. And I just started talking about books. And what motivated me was that Murphy's videos were super accessible to me at that time. Like she was just sitting in front of her bookshelves talking about books. They didn't have the production value they had then. She wasn't even as articulate as she is now, right? Either. Like this was how long ago? You know, it was just getting the words out, sharing with people how you felt about books, and then getting to talk about them in the comments. Like, that is what it was about for me. And when you first start, you know, your videos are getting 5 to 10 views, but you get that one comment where it genuinely felt like you were talking to a person, right? It didn't feel like a bot. It didn't feel like it was just the, you know, classic comments people leave. Like, I truly started to talk with people. So I say this plenty of times, like, Murphy was who motivated me to finally do my channel, because it seems so accessible. And I love my dear, dear friends, but they didn't read any books that I hadn't read. And they only read ones when I like really, really would really push them to read them. So I just didn't have anyone to talk about books to. So there's my long answer about that. That's what motivated me to first start my channel. And then, I mean, I wouldn't say the rest is history. It is literally history. It happened in the past, but like, there was a lot that it took to get here, right? And some people would still not even call me a super successful booktuber, but I did find a way to be able to do this full time. And that really doesn't have to do with YouTube. I'll tell you that. Like, as YouTube being the moneymaker is my point. Like, YouTube is not where I'm able to do this full time. It's because of my Patreon and my supporters who, you know, we've built a connection through the years to the point where you trust me with what I talk about and stuff. So anyway, long story long, that is why I started a channel. All right, next up here. Anonymous question here. Do you miss the camaraderie of 2020 booktube? Oh, great question. The answer is yes. The answer is 90% yes and 10% no. Okay? 90% yes, because I loved when, you know, I don't know how many of you have been watching, but there was probably 15 to 20 romance booktubers that I talked with off and on regularly. We all watched each other's videos. We did collabs. In 2022, I actually went to like a romance booktubers retreat with fellow booktubers, and that was honestly one of the highlights of my booktube career up to this point, or up to that point. And I enjoyed it so much. I love that we all had different opinions about books, but we were so kind of like, just loved having the friendships. And to me, that was why I did get into YouTube, right? I loved watching collab videos between those booktubers I mentioned earlier and things like that. And I loved being in like a group chat with the romance readers, and the other romance booktubers, and I just loved it so much. And I do miss those aspects of it. What I think happens, and I truly, I'm not throwing shade on any person. This is just how it happens. When you have a group of people from all different backgrounds, all different places, all different opinions, and the only thing keeping you together is making videos on the internet. You know, you're not seeing each other weekly. You're not dealing with the person face to face. You're not sharing all of their life with them, which is what it's like when you have, you know, friends in your immediate aspect and a big group of them, right? I think that it's too easy for like ripples to form, because there's a lot of personalities that clicked that we wouldn't be friends if we met each other in real life. And again, that's not throwing shade to anyone. That's just saying we're very different. And the only thing that was holding a lot of us together was that we made romance booktube videos, right? And so once you start to have some rifts and you start to have like teams form, then let's say if there is a disagreement between people and you have people forming teams, well, then a lot of the magic is gone. Then you have some people who they just were never going to sustain making videos for 8 to 10 years, right? Like some people, myself included, this is like all that we have going on. Like and again, I'm literally talking about myself. YouTube is like such a big part of my life, and it's even become more so, obviously, since it's become a full-time job. And so I work really hard on, you know, protecting my space because I want to be here for the long haul. right? And other people, they just wanted to do it for a certain time, or it was a time in life where it brought them joy, but now they move on because this was never going to be a full-time thing. And it's a lot of energy to put into a channel, like from a small channel to, I can't even imagine what it's like at some that they literally have whole teams that make it. Like, it's a lot. So I feel like the way things shook out, I still want to be friends with some people who we just don't talk anymore, that there wasn't any drama. Like, literally, your life, you just don't always think about the people on the internet of wanting to talk to them and keeping up a relationship with someone you never see, right? And then there's some people that if I hadn't met them through the romance booktuber community, my life would be a sadder place, a like darker place, because I've made true, genuine, lasting friendships with people that are literally family to me. And so on the whole, I loved that camaraderie. I thought it was great. I love that there was something happening every day. I love that there was sprints going on multiple times a week and you'd get to hang out. But I also understand why it didn't last. And no matter what anyone says, yes, there are people with hurt feelings. Yes, there was drama at certain points. Yes, there were controversies or cancellations or this, that, and whatever. But at the end of the day, the reason it isn't sustainable is that you have personalities that were just never meant to gel together, that we maybe got along for a certain aspect, but once there starts to be any strain on that relationship at all, it just goes, because you have no desire to fix it with someone you're never going to see in person. And it's much easier to just like, they just disappear from your life and it didn't hurt you. And then what you're left with are the memories. So that is my very long explanation about that. And I truly, truly mean it. I'm not throwing shade to any particular person. I would consider myself at fault first before anyone else when it comes to anything like that. But also, I don't wish ill or think ill of anyone at this point at all. I wish them all the best. And I'm so happy for some of those memories. Like, just the other day, I was rewatching bits of a vlog where I was hanging out with some people. Oh, and it made my heart so happy. Like, I didn't feel bitter or sad or broken about it. I'm like, wow, it's so cool that I met 3 people through something that I love, and I was able to go meet them from all over the country. I was able to go meet them and give them a hug and talk about those books we love to their face. That's just the coolest thing. Like, really, that's the coolest thing. And so, yes, I miss the camaraderie. I think people, I wish that we could get that magic back, but, maybe there will be a new group or a new girl gang and girl and guy gang and they gang that we bring together at some point. And I would definitely be open to it for sure. Because again, as I had said when I mentioned what motivated me to start this, it was the people to talk about books with, right? But once your channel gets a certain size, like, you can do that with the people in your community. Whereas back when I was literally at like, I remember those girls cheering me on when I was getting like monetized for the first time, right? Like, that's how great those connections were. And we were trying to help each other get monetized and everything, and every little win was like so exciting, it was so exciting. So yeah, I miss it. And I also know that's just how life goes in things. And yeah, I wish everybody the best. And I do miss a lot of them. And other people, I'm just like, wow, I'm really glad I was around when like this certain thing was happening, right? I love that part. I think that happens in a lot of book, or just in YouTube communities, by the way, if you check it out. Okay, what is your go-to beverage when reading? I was hoping this would come up. I was hoping this one would come up. That was question number 10, because I have my drink here. So my go-to is usually an Alani. Okay, I will admit, I love an Alani. It doesn't really matter the flavor. I really like the peach one. I really like the blue one. I really was enjoying the Christmas ones recently because I bought some of those. This morning, though, I actually have the Shirley Temple 7-Up because Target had diet sodas, was 3 12-packs for $16, which was one of the best deals there's been around lately. So I just stocked up on a few of those. But normally I do a soda because I generally just get coffee when I go to the coffee shop these days. And I make a lot of sodas or lemonades at home. I love making lemonades too. So yeah, today it's just 7-Up Shirley Temple. I love that fizzy goodness in there. But yeah, my go-to is usually an energy drink or some type of caffeinated beverage in the morning. So yeah. Okay, this one was, where do you recommend starting with Lauren Asher? Which I thought was an interesting question because I really don't read much Lauren Asher. I know. I've read 4 of her books. I read 2 books in the Dreamland Billionaires, and I've read 2 books in her most recent series. So I'm just really not the authority on where to start. The books I liked most was the most recent series, but even I didn't make it through the 3rd one. Her books are just so long, okay? Like, they are very long. And though I do enjoy that slow burn sometimes, I really do. Like, they just always feel so bloated with every little experience the characters are having that it's a lot. So I did really love, I can't remember it, but the pink one, Love... Oh, I don't know, but if I remember, I'll put up a picture. But it was book 2, the one that was the single dad and the nanny. I really liked that one. But book 1 in the series was good as well. So maybe start with her most recent series. But yeah, I'm just really not the authority on Lauren Asher at all. I haven't read her racing books, and I never finished the Dreamland series because I really didn't like the heroes in the Dreamland ones. But I did enjoy the first 2 books in the Love series. And book 2 is being my favorite one. All right. That was question 11. Question 12. Do you just feel your initial rating, or do you have a calculation from different categories? So that's a great question. This question, I know they put a whole lot into this question, and I had to kind of dumb it down to put it on a slip here, and that is me dumbing it down. But I think it had to do with, like, do I use a specific, I think there's one that's called, like, Gale or something for how you rate books. And yes, I do feel the initial rating. Though, funny enough, for my 2026 reading journal, one of the things I added in is actually a, like, help me decide what to rate it thing. And I'd seen someone do this in a journal thing before where it's like you start at the top and it's like, did you finish it? You know, yes or no. Did you enjoy it? Yes or no. And then if you enjoyed it, would you read it again? And it, like, helps you decide, like, what you would rate it. And I think I'm going to put one of those in my reading journal because sometimes I really do struggle, especially with those books that are, like, between a 3 and a 4. I really struggle there. But yeah, I do feel because the thing is, I've said this, I'm not a super critical reader unless the story kind of prompts me into feeling critical, which I know is a weird thing to say, but, yeah, I don't really get too critical unless there are things that are annoying me that then make me be critical of a book. So it really is just a vibe. It's like, do I want to recommend this? How much or how urgently am I recommending it? Is kind of like if it's a 4 or a 5. And then a 6 is usually just like, am I crying? Can I stop thinking about the book? Like, stuff like that. But I really don't have a specific set of rules. It's just all about the feel. And that's why it is so important to find YouTubers that it's like you feel the same as them about a lot of books, because then you know that you can trust those ratings, right? Like my 3-star rating could be a 1-star for someone else or vice versa or whatever. You just have to know based on the booktuber you love. Here's number 13. Oh yeah, I was wondering if this one would come up. What is the most disturbing book that you've still given 5 or 6 stars? This is from Amanda. So I think that really depends on what you mean by disturbing, Amanda, is the thing. Because, you know, y'all know I read dark romance, and I don't find dark romance necessarily disturbing all the time because I think there's a purpose why an author is writing it dark and like what type of emotions it's supposed to stir up and what it's doing. So it's just hard for me with that type of qualification of like, what's a like straight up a book that I thought was like icky disturbing is different than one that like it disturbed my mind, because often I do rate a book highly if it disturbs my mind. It really makes me think about something, you know. But one that, I mean, San Mariano is always going to be a good choice for me because people find, you know, forced sexual situations are always really disturbing to people. But I would say probably the most disturbing ones that I love are the Frozen Fate trilogy by Pam Godwin. I think most people would be disgusted by that trilogy or very disturbed by it. And I think that it is fantastic. And it was my like favorite books last year, basically. So maybe that's what I would say, Amanda, is the Frozen Fate trilogy, because it's definitely not going to be for everyone. And particularly the first book with certain revelations that it has, I think will really disturb people. So let's go with that. Okay, number 14. What is your favorite autumn read? And this was from Cassie. That's tough. I've shared this before. I am not really a seasonal reader. Like, I think that I am, and I'll be like, oh, but then when I look at it, I like reading cozy things all year round. I really don't want to just pick what people think of me, but honestly, Last Light is one of my favorite, like, fall time reads. Like, a lot of Claire's books are, but I mean, now I read Claire's books all year round because I work for her, so there's that. I also love the Stay a Spell series in the fall. I always feel really nostalgic for those. You know, as much as I do seasonally read, I think paranormal in the autumn is probably, you know, I know that's certainly not just me, right? Spooky season and stuff. But I think like Cressley Cole, but yeah, that's maybe where I would go with that. But I'm not really a seasonal reader. I kind of am like the vibes, right? Okay, question 15. Ooh, good question. From Reading Romance HEA. How do you choose what to read next? Well, it's not as fun or interesting as it used to be, right? I used to do fun things of like, do the spinner wheel, or do, you know, pick one at random, or, you know, do whatever. Honestly, it's what is the next arc that's coming out? What's the next book I need to read for Noelle? What's the next one on the list? Like, I used to be a much more free-form reader, and we'll get into this too of like, I do have my, you know, 2026 goals coming up and things like that. There's actually another question having to do with that. We'll see if that one comes up too. But honestly, it's like, what is the next book that's coming out that I need to get to? And that's the one that I'm reading next. Like, what do I need to read for Patreon? What's this? Because honestly, again, I used to be much more like, I would make a vague outline of a TBR. And I was able to do that when I was a smaller channel and I wasn't reading as many books for like their release days and stuff. And so it would be just more like, yeah, I would read books on release day if I was really excited. But otherwise, I just read whatever I felt like. Well, now I get so easily distracted by other things, you know, whereas before, if I was trying to decide a book, I would straight up do the like try chapter tag, like just by myself. Like, it wouldn't need to be a tag or anything. I would just read the beginning chapters of like 3 books I'm interested in and then like pick one. But now it's more got to be like, okay, well, this book comes out in 2 days. This is the next one. So I know that's not a fun answer, but that's why I make those TBRs though. And I, in my journal, put like when the book comes out, because it's not that you have to get to a book by release day. That's something I've just learned over time too. I'm like, it's more about helping build the hype. So if you're sharing about the book and then you talk about it when you can, like, that's helping the author. But I just like to get to them by the time they come out. It makes me feel better about staying in line. So yeah, I have a pretty strict schedule each month. And again, I won't talk more because there's a question asking me about that. We'll see if I get to it. Okay, 16. Do you plan to read any monster, paranormal, or sci-fi books next year? If so, which? Well, that's a great question. I mean, there were a few of these in there that were like, do you plan to read? I don't have any like specific plans for specific books. I'd love to know what are some monster, paranormal, or sci-fi books that you guys think I should read. Let me know. Give me the recommendations. I mean, I do, on my TBR right now, have Victoria Aveline's book. She finally had the audiobook come out for her last book that released. I want to catch up on the books from Tiffany and Robert. I'm behind on their books, but their audiobooks have gotten pushed. And I really love their audiobooks, so I want to get to those. I would like to catch up on Elizabeth Stevens' series. I have a few of those waiting in my Audible as well. I'm sure Lillian Lark will put out a book and I'll read it. I'm still waiting on one specifically from Dame with a Pen. What's her name? She has a gargoyle one I've been waiting on forever. I'll definitely read anything new from Catherine Moon. So yeah, I mean, I definitely will read them. I just don't know when that will happen. But I mean, I'm never going to stop reading monster romance. Like, I love that stuff. Okay, question 17. This will be actually perfect. We're getting to 20 questions here. Okay. Oh, yay, this is a good one. Hypothetically, if you wrote a book, would it be romance or maybe crime or mystery? And if so, what trope or subgenres would you write? From Helen. Her question, this is another one where her question was very long and I had to try to fit it on this piece of paper. But Helen, I love you, girl. You're amazing. Yes. She also was sure. She's like, I know you said you won't write a book, but if you did. And I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, we all like to speculate on what we would end up doing. I mean, I would definitely write a romance. It's very kind of you to say you could see me writing crime or mystery. I don't know how to put a mystery together to save my life. Like, that is very kind of you. Even like true crime stuff, like I would not want to spend time in the head of a killer or try to write that. Actually, that sounds horrible to me. Mad respect to the people who do, because I just couldn't do that. If I wrote a book, and I'm not saying I haven't ever dabbled in it before, I would probably end up writing something that was dystopian or apocalyptic. I just love that subgenre. And funny story, many years ago, I did start planning out a dystopian type novel. But I didn't get past the planning stage because I don't want to write a book. I always think I do and I'll get inspired by some part of it and then I don't. But I would probably write a dystopian, and you know, that would also be very much Claire Kent-like if I did. I just love how she tells stories like that. So I would probably write a dystopian, or I would write an erotic romance, like honestly, because I just adore erotic romance. And the things that I love about erotic romance, I think that I could do a good job with. But again, I really, really don't want to write a book, so I don't think about it too much. All right, number 18. Who are other bookish channels you would recommend? Yeah, going back to this of like, do you miss the camaraderie of booktube? I really don't watch booktube these days. But for bookish channels that I watch, I, of course, no question, would recommend Crystal's Bookish Life, which, again, you guys will all probably know who that is. But recommend her. I recommend Honest Fiction, especially if you love fantasy and if you love audiobooks. She pretty much only reads audiobooks. Love Jess. She's great. There's Rachel Regent Sings, been my friend a really long time. Christy from Christy Reads. And then some of the like bigger channels. I still watch Daniel Green pretty regularly, even though I don't fully read the fantasies and stuff that he reviews. he was someone else that I was like a member of his Patreon literally 8 years ago when he was under 10,000 subscribers for sure. Both him and Murphy, I wasn't really like close with, but I had talked with him before. Whereas Murphy, I used to talk to her like every day. And I don't really watch her videos at all anymore. She got a lot into like graphic novels and stuff. I still watch Elliot Brooks sometimes. I like her commentary on the fantasy and fantasy romance space. But yeah, that is pretty much what I watch these days. But I mostly am watching true crime, so I don't really watch any other romance channels even besides those few that I listed because they're my friends. So, all right, number 19. When did you start dyeing your hair? Would you ever stop? So I started dyeing my hair when I had dyed it a few random times in the past, but I really started dyeing my hair in 2018 probably, or 2018 or 2019. I won a gift certificate at Microsoft, okay? I used to work at Microsoft back when I started this channel. And when I won this like $150 gift card to a fancy place in town. And that's when I went this like dark burgundy red way back then. And then I went back to them a few times for touch-ups. I got touch-ups a couple times with them. But then it got really expensive and then COVID hit. And so I started dyeing myself. And that's when I went the more like purple color that my hair will sometimes be, though. Once my color starts to fade out, it always turns to red. And my color underneath is this dirty blonde color, which, I mean, you can see right now it's coming out because I haven't touched it up in a while. And I don't know that I would stop. I'm not in a rush to go back to my normal color. I love the color that it is. I think I actually look really good with darker hair. And I just like it. So I don't know that I would stop. I don't feel any like real urgency to or anything like that. But yeah. That's when I started dyeing it. All right, last question for this. And then the rest of these questions I will answer on Patreon. Question 20. Oh, this is a fun one. And it's just perfect because the light is coming to ruin our video here. A favorite book that hasn't gotten a special edition yet. And this was from Allie. That is a great question, but also difficult because a lot of them all do have special editions. But when I was writing these down, I had an answer for it, but now I don't remember what I was going to say. I think my answer to that is there's a lot of historical romances that I love that are just... If they get other editions, they don't get like special editions, right? They just get, oh, we moved the couple to the step back, or oh, we made this look more updated, you know? So one of the ones I was thinking of was, I mean, The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie is one of my favorite books of all time. Like, I adore it so, so much. And it kind of bums me out that, why did I put that back in there? Why did I put that back in there? I already did that one. That those ones don't. Now, one of the things I don't know if you guys saw is that the same ladies, Adriana Herrera and Allie Hazelwood, who did the special edition box with Claire Kemp that did Dystopian, in 2026, they're going to be doing a historical box. And based on the hints that they've given, it sounds like the type of box they're going to do is a special edition box. And the books that are hinted at in there were like a Loretta Chase, Lisa Kleypas, who else was hinted at? Oh, Beverly Jenkins, and a couple more. And I think there might be going to be some special editions of those, which is amazing. Because Indigo was the Beverly Jenkins that is hinted at, and Dreaming of You is the Lisa Kleypas that was hinted at. And if there was special editions of those, I may actually cry in a puddle on the floor. Like, that would be amazing. So I hope so. But otherwise, yeah, those are the ones that I wish would have special editions, are historicals, you know? I love that, because otherwise I feel like most other books like do have a special edition of some kind somewhere. But yeah, that would probably be my answer, is some historicals. So, all right, there you go. Those were 20 questions from the Q&A. I think I still have about 15 to 20 left. I can't remember the exact number that were in this jar. So if you're interested in more questions, they will be on my Patreon. So I know that's a bit of a tease, but your girl's got to do what she's got to do. There is actually a discount right now for annual memberships happening over there. So you can check it out if you would like more questions answered. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sending these questions in. These were great. I liked doing them out of the mug. I think that was good because it let me kind of think about the questions more instead of having my computer out and looking at it that way. So thank you so much for watching, my friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.